Good afternoon, everybody. This is Britt Moore, Chairman of the Finance Committee for the City of High Point, calling to order our first meeting of 2023 for Thursday, January the 12th. Here with me at City Hall is Councilman Vic Jones and Councilman Michael Holmes. We haven't heard from Monica Peters, Mayor Pro Tem, but I expect she will be coming in. But we do have enough to start the meeting, and the agenda's got quite a few things, so we'll begin going through the items. The first item of business is 2023-025. It is a contract consideration from our electric department. Tyler,
Hey, good afternoon.
how are you?
I'm doing well. Hope you guys are.
Good.
So this is a bid for some underground cable. This is one underground primary. It is a normal warehouse stock item. I actually have a piece of that cable, and sometimes you folks like to see
Yeah, of
what we
course.
use.
Yeah.
If you're ever wondering what one-alt primary looks like, now you can say that you've seen it. But this is us purchasing 40,000 feet of said cable, so I guess that's about it.
That's why my TV don't work.
No comment.
You want to see this, Mr. Jones?
They usually have way better stuff.
Yeah. Very nice. Thanks for bringing it.
Yeah, I know you guys like
I
show
think
and
this
tell.
is,
Yes.
yeah, we do. I think this is pretty straightforward item request here. Is there any comments or questions?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 2023-026 is also a Wesco consideration. Tyler?
This is for also warehouse stock purchase. These are 300 kVA submersible transformers. Did not bring one of these units in for show and tell. But these are,
Impressive.
these are units that are used downtown in vaults where pad mounts are not a viable option. These units are typically about the size of in our showroom district or something that's used downtown. But it's, again, just a common stock item. It's not slated for any particular project.
Comments or questions? I'll make a motion there's a motion to approve. Is there a second? There is a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
No show and tell.
The next order of business is 2023-027 concerning our relationship with Samet Corporation and our Parks and Rec Department. Mr. Lee Tillery.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Before you is our final change order with Samet Corporation and the City Lake Park renovation project. We did have some things come up towards the end of the project. A lot of them were repairs to some existing conditions there, infrastructure needs with the park, and of course the age of the park, especially centered around the Loop Road, which is a loop road right above the new event center and our Great Lawn, the parking lot. We did have some safety measures that we had to take care of as well. The total cost of the change order is $537,620.43. We are recognizing some savings on the project to this point, so only asking for $312,620 in general fund reserves to cover these additional costs and improvements. And I'm happy to answer any questions you guys may have here.
You used a word there. I just wanted to make sure that it was on the record. You said this would be the final change order?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that we're making some savings on the projected cost. Any comments or questions on this request? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve item 2023-027.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mayor Pro Tem Peters has joined us. And there's been a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mr. Chair, I think the direction two is to approve the other two items under the recommendation as well.
Did we do that, Madam Attorney, all at once? Be separated out? Need to be separate. All right. Give me just a second. Because they're under three separate orders of 27, 28, and 29, correct? Okay. So, to my fellow counselors here, we're also looking at item 2023-2028. You've already covered the details.
No, we're still on 2027.
Well, I see three different numbers there, so. All right, I need to pull that up. I gotta go this one. All right, hold on. Sorry for the delay. Yeah, all right. So within that, we have, to confirm, we've approved item number 1 of the recommendations, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, the second one is the, I'll make a motion to approve item 2, which is the Financial Services Department budget ordinance amendment for the City Lake Park Phase 1 renovation project. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. The item number 3 in this request is for the capital project ordinance for the City Lake Park Phase 1 renovation project, and I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Thank you for your help.
Thank you.
Madam Attorney. All right. Next item is 2023-028. This is Parks and Rec as well. We'll hear from Lee again.
Yes, sir. This is a change in personnel status for our department. We currently have what we call a PB position, or a position that is budgeted for 32 hours a year. That do bring along benefits with that position as it relates to the hours. And we're looking to make some changes there to that position where it becomes a full-time 40-hour position. It's better for us in our needs within the department. It's going to be better for us as far as retaining those people who work in those positions moving forward. So we've identified a part-time position to assist us in funding that particular position. So we'd eliminate that part-time position and apply those funds for that with that position to this new position, the recreation coordinator position. They'll allow for us to program for 40 hours. This is in our recreation division, our Aspire division, and this is a position where this person works with youth and adults with physical and developmental disabilities in various programs and events throughout the course of the year. So we've identified the additional funding within our budget, which only totals $4,220, and we're recommending approval for this. And I'm happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
Comments or questions? I have a question just for an explanation and then a comment. The Aspire position has been in place for how long? Ever since we started Miracle Field?
Yes, sir. It's been, even before, we used to, it was formerly called the Special Populations Division, and we renamed that about 3 years ago to the Aspire Division, but it's been in place for a while. A lot of our programming has a great deal of history, and has a great deal of history at City Lake. That's why we call Camp Ann City Lake. We used to hold Camp Ann, which is a 6-week camp for youth and adults with physical and developmental disabilities, actually at City Lake Park back in the day. So we have a lot of history with that. We probably have one of the bigger kind of Aspire programming probably in the state. I'd compare our programming to a lot of different departments through there. So we're very proud of that division.
Well, that's something to be proud of, and it is a miracle field if you haven't been
Yes, sir.
able
Yeah.
to go out and cheer them on or volunteer and assist is a very inspirational thing, and I think it's a great asset to our city. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve item 2023-028.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Next item is 2023-029. It's an interlocal agreement within our Parks and Recreation. Lee?
Yes, sir. This is with the Piedmont Discovery application. This was an application that we developed along with Guilford County and the city of Greensboro. It started back in 2017, 2018. This is a park recreation amenity trail locator application that was developed so that we could have something to better market our facilities, our parks, our trails, along with Guilford County and the city of Greensboro. So this is Megan, help me out on the language, an updated and
Amended and restated.
I almost got it right. Amended and restated agreement built upon our last agreement. And this one more accurately reflects some of the responsibilities as to where we are now. The original agreement focused more on the startup of this and who would be responsible. This agreement covers responsibilities between the three entities, and we actually added some other municipalities, small areas within the region that have now become part of the application. They're listed on here as far as Gibsonville, Jamestown, Oak Ridge, Pleasant Gardens, Stokesdale, and Summerfield. They are data providers, so their information on their recreational amenities will be included in this application as well. So we talk about that, or responsibilities of each entity, and we also talk a little bit more about data storage in this interlocal agreement. So we're comfortable with it. Megan's had a chance to review it. Resolutions attached to it, and we're recommending approval.
This agreement, is this the first time it's been updated since the original one?
Yes, sir.
Is it reviewed on an as-needed basis, or do you look at it with the group annually, or?
Yeah. Tracy represents our department on that. How often do we meet on that?
We meet monthly.
Yeah, we meet monthly on it, and so it's pretty consistent now. We take a look at it.
Very good. Any other comments or questions? Then I'll make a motion to approve item 2023-029.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lee. The next item is 2023-030. This has to do with our Department of Transportation and a three-party agreement with the U.S. DOT, North Carolina DOT, and raise funding. And we will hear on that currently. Yes, sir.
My name is Andrew Edmonds, Transportation Plan Administrator for the city. This is the consideration of a three-party agreement with US DOT and North Carolina DOT for raise funds to construct improvements to Elm Street and construct phases 1 through 3 of the Southwest Heritage Greenway. RAISE is a highly competitive discretionary grant that we were awarded back in FY21, along with Southwest Renewal Foundation and North Carolina Integrated Mobility Division. Once the agreement is fully executed, we can move forward with a request for proposals for design. We anticipate design to last till October 2023. After final design is completed, we'll begin right-of-way acquisition, which we anticipate completed by April 2024. Beginning construction in fall of 2024, we hope to complete it by October 31st, 2028. The total cost of the project is just shy of $28.5 million, which the city will budget and get reimbursed as we complete work. This is a reimbursement grant. Of this amount, US DOT is responsible for $19.8 million, which is about 69.5% of the cost. The city also received a $1.5 million congressionally directed spending earmark from US HUD and $200,000 from NCDOT. The remaining costs of the project, the city will be responsible for $6,987,836. Sorry, $6,987,836. Thank you.
Don't worry,
Yeah.
that's a lot of numbers.
Yeah, it is a lot of numbers.
Any comments or questions on this item? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve item 2023-030.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is 2023-007, a contract consideration with Rebuild It Services Group, Public Service Director Robbie Stone.
Thank you. So bring forth to you today this contract for Rebuild It Services Group. They are currently working out our Eastside Wastewater Treatment Plant, doing some work on our dissolved air flotation thickener, and we have 3 of those at that plant. They were originally hired to refurbish a gear drive at that location, and during this work, it was discovered that the back pressure valve assembly in the DAF unit was in poor condition, needed to be replaced. So we have asked them to move forward with, continue to move forward with that replacement for $39,846. We do have funds in our current budget for this, and we're requesting approval to increase this PO, which originally was $86,960 to an amount of $126,806 for this repair. We do have some pictures in here, and unlike Mr. Barrier, I didn't want to bring display items for you to see, so just-
Comments or questions?
Motion approved.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Next item is 2023-009, change order on our Richland Creek sewer outfall. Robbie?
Okay, so this is, Garney Construction is currently working on our Richland Creek sewer outfall. We were approached by the town of Archdale, which connects into this outfall. They wanted to, looking at future improvements for their systems, they wanted to go ahead and install a manhole on this outfall and prepare for their future upgrades and future improvements. So this right here is an agreement for, since we have the contract with Garney, for Garney to move forward and purchase this manhole and get that installed for their future repairs. Now, we are working with Town of Archdale on an interlocal agreement so that we will be reimbursed for all of this. We don't currently have that in hand, but that is currently underway. That agreement is underway. We do have funds currently to go ahead and pay for this as we speak, and we're recommending council to approve this increase for $297,918.40.
Comments or questions?
I do have a question, and I'm sorry, I looked at this earlier, and I apologize, I don't have my computer with me right now. Where is the manhole going to be located?
It's currently on the outfall. I don't necessarily have a roadway or intersection to give to you. I can get you a map to kind of show you that
Yeah.
more exact intersection out in the wilderness, out in the rural area, so to say.
Okay.
So.
Well, I was just curious, because, Richland Creek goes a lot through Ward 3, and I really should have it memorized where it goes, but I know it goes by Blair Park, and then I guess it goes south. I know that we've had some issues before, like at Peter's Auto Mall down on South Main, that's right before you get into Archdale. So will it kind of help some of that outfall area?
Well, this is closer to the Eastside Wastewater Treatment Plant. We have,
Okay.
we have 13 aerials, 16 aerials.
Okay.
Upstream of that plant there. And so several of these aerials, they add up to about a mile in length. And so a lot of these aerials have had leaks over the past year, so we're trying to go through and repair those.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
it's more on the southern side. I'm not sure it's exactly where you're talking about, but
Okay, okay.
I'll try to get that information for you as far as the location of that manhole.
Well, great. That's great that we're working together with Archdale. I think that's awesome.
Anything else? Then I'll make a motion to approve item 2023-009.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion passes. Next item is 2023-010. It's an amendment for our pump station improvements, the Wooten Company. Robbie?
Yes, so this is to work with Luton Company, who we had previously hired out to look at our Riverdale pump station and evaluate increasing that pump station to 40 million gallons per day. So concurrently, while we're doing that, we also have a contract with another consultant. They're looking at our collection system. And they have come back to us, and basically the other consultants come back and said, within your collection system, we're recommending that this pump station should probably be closer to 44 million gallons per day. So we've reached back out to Wooten, who's not finalized their study, but said, hey, we want to look at increasing this capacity to 44 million gallons per day. So what other steps will be needed to get to that and do that study? So they've presented this to us. It's asking for an additional $14,000 to increase that purchase order, which would take it up to $94,000 to complete this study, and we do have funding currently available for this.
Any comments or questions? Motion, then I'll make a motion to approve item 2023-010.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion passes. And Robbie, I'd like to say that Happy New Year. This is one of the, I hope you'll keep the trend. I mean, you were relatively inexpensive today, so that's good. Next item is 2023-031. This is a resolution for consideration of the sale of city property. Kim Thor will explain.
Hello.
Hi.
We were approached by Sterling Real Estate Development of North Carolina LLC to purchase 2 city vacant lots for the amount of $20,000 at 1117 and 1119 Jefferson Street, and this would be with the upset bid procedure. We'd like to get council approval for that.
Comments or questions on this item? It's pretty routine. I'll make the motion to approve item 2023-031.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Next item is similar in nature. It's item 2023-032. Kim?
The North Carolina Department of Transportation is widening Johnson Street and Sandy Ridge Road, and they're going by the fire station number 14, and they're going to need a permanent utility easement, temporary construction easement, and a permanent drainage easement. And that's at 2127 Sandy Ridge Road. And they're willing to pay $34,950 for that. So we'd like to get council approval to grant that.
Comments and questions on this widening project?
Motion approved.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Anything else? Comments for finance before we adjourn? Hearing none, wish everybody a Happy New Year again, and hope we'll have a great year, and we're adjourned.